Welcome back to Anatomy and Physiology on Catalyst University. My name is Kevin Tokoph. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. In this video, we're going to be talking about an organized method to really learn the innervation of the extensor muscles of the forearm. And so we're going to be looking here at the posterior compartment. In the next video, we'll be looking at the anterior compartment. We'll see something fairly similar. So let's talk about the posterior compartment of the forearm. Now, the nice thing about the posterior compartment is that everything in here, all these muscles, are in some way innervated by the radial nerve. Now, it could be the radial nerve proper. It could be the deep radial nerve that occurs after the radial nerve bifurcates. Or it could be the posterior interosseous nerve, which is really just a continuation of the deep radial nerve. So let's go and talk about the journey of the radial nerve. So the radial nerve is going to originate really up at the posterior cord of the brachial plexus. Okay? It's then going to move into the spiral groove or the radial groove of the humerus and just move down that. Okay? And again, the radial groove is just a little bit superior to the medial head of triceps, so it's running on the posterior aspect of the humerus. And as soon as it leaves the radial groove, it's going to go into the anterior elbow region, so really on the lateral aspect of the cubital fossa. And right as it's entering the cubital fossa, around that point, with a little variation, it's going to bifurcate into a superficial sensory branch and a deep branch which only has motor function. So first of all, the sensory branch, which is the superficial radial nerve, this innervates 0 muscles. Okay? I always think superficial, sensory. And so this is really just going to travel, for the most part, under brachioradialis and a few other muscles. And it's going to make its way to the hand, where it's going to provide sensory cutaneous information, relay that back to the central nervous system. Now the deep radial nerve, this is the one that is motor. Okay? And so the deep radial nerve, we talked about this in a separate video, it's going to enter a small tunnel within the supinator muscle called the supinator tunnel, and it traverses through the supinator tunnel, and as soon as it exits the supinator tunnel, it changes names to posterior interosseous nerve. So this posterior interosseous nerve is not a branch of the deep radial nerve, it's just a change of name as soon as the deep radial nerve exits the supinator tunnel. If you want more detail on that, go back and watch one of the previous videos in this playlist. When we learn the innervation of these muscles in the posterior compartment of the forearm, we have this nice thing called the rule of 2-2-2. Okay? That means there's 2 muscles innervated by radial nerve before the elbow joint, there's 2 muscles innervated by radial nerve after the elbow joint, and there's 2 muscles innervated by the deep radial nerve, so 2, 2, and 2. And then every single other extensor in the forearm is innervated by the posterior interosseous nerve. So you learn this 2, 2, and 2, and then everything else is posterior interosseous nerve. So let's talk about the 2 muscles prior to the elbow joint, so in the brachium, that are innervated by the radial nerve. Okay? I mentioned at the start of the video that the radial nerve traverses in that radial groove, or spiral groove as it's often called, on the posterior aspect of the humerus, and it actually runs between the lateral and medial heads of triceps brachii. And so that leads you to believe that the radial nerve proper innervates triceps brachii, and it does. The second muscle here that's innervated by the radial nerve prior to crossing the elbow joint is Anca Gnaeus. Now, a lot of people would consider Anca Gnaeus to be in the posterior compartment of the forearm. In fact, you can see this orange muscle right here. This is Anca Gnaeus. And it is true that the muscle belly of this actually lies distal to the elbow joint. However, in some sources, you'll actually see Anca Gnaeus considered sort of a downgrowth of the triceps brachii, almost a 4th head of it. In fact, it's synergistic with the triceps brachii. And so for that reason, we're going to group these 2 together right here. It also makes this rule of 2-2-2 actually work. So triceps brachii and Anca Gnaeus, they're both elbow extensors, although of course triceps brachii is much more powerful in terms of that action. Alright, now the radial nerve crosses the elbow joint and it's going to give off 2 more branches. Those are to brachioradialis and extensor carpi radialis longus. Now the nice thing here is if you know these forearm muscles from lateral to medial, these 2 muscles are the most lateral of all of them. So if we look here, this kind of reddish orange muscle right here, this is brachioradialis, And then this first blue one adjacent to it, this is extensor carpi radialis longus. So those two muscles are the two most lateral, and of course they're the two that get branches from the radial nerve proper. Okay? Now at this point, right after those two branches are given off, the radial nerve is going to bifurcate, and we get that superficial radial nerve, which does not innervate any muscles. It only provides cutaneous sensory information for the hand. And then we get the other branch, which is the deep radial nerve. Now, this is a pretty short nerve. As we mentioned, it's going to ultimately enter the supinator tunnel at a point called the arcade of Frosch. Again, we have a video over that. But before it enters the supinator tunnel, it gets off two branches. This is our last of the twos. And it turns out these muscles are also lateral. Okay, so the two branches before that were from the radial nerve proper were brachioradialis and extensor carpi radialis longus. The first branch given off by the deep radial nerve is the next one in sequence. It's extensor carpi radialis brevis, which is this blue muscle right here. Extensor carpi radialis brevis. Now, the next one is not extensor digitorum, okay, this yellow one. It's actually deep to all these three. So if we peel those off, we take a look underneath, this yellow muscle is supinator. And so notice that supinator really just lies deep to all three of those muscles, brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and brevis. And so the second branch that comes off of the deep radial nerve is for the supinator muscle. Okay? And then, of course, we have this situation where the deep radial nerve enters the supinator tunnel, and when it exits the supinator tunnel, it changes names to posterior interosseous nerve. Every single other muscle in the extensor compartment of the forearm, or the posterior forearm, all of them are innervated by the posterior interosseous nerve. So we can look at this picture right here. Extensor digitorum, the green one, extensor digiti minimi, extensor carpi ulnaris. If we flip over to the deep muscles, we've got abductor pollicis longus, we've got extensor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis. I didn't include it here, but also extensor indicus. Basically, every single other muscle in the posterior forearm is innervated by posterior interosseous nerve. And that's the gist of this. You've got the rule of 2, 2, 2. You've got 2 before the elbow joint by the radial nerve, 2 after the elbow joint by the radial nerve, and 2 by the deep radial nerve. And then every single other muscle in the posterior forearm, all these extensors, are innervated by the posterior interosseous nerve. And so obviously to learn this, it really helps to know the pathway of the radial nerve as it bifurcates and then eventually becomes posterior interosseous nerve. In the next video, we're going to be doing a similar thing, learning a similar strategy for the anterior forearm, which is predominantly the flexors. Okay? Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you.